New Zealand?
Question number 8, the Honourable David Parker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is to the Minister of Finance. Does he stand by his statement in relation to New Zealanders leaving for Australia? What's the point of standing in the airport crying about it, given that 158,167 people have left since November 2008, 53,763 left in the last year, and 4,361 left in June?
The Honourable Bill English.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I stand by my full statement, which included the additional comment, we've just got to compete. And I think that is pretty obvious. If our younger people want to go to Australia to high-paying jobs, well, at the very least in New Zealand we need to create some new jobs, in particular in the minerals and resources sector, which that member's party is quite opposed to.
The Honourable David Parker.
Well, then, does he stand by his statement on Agenda TV in November 2008 when he was asked, what about this idea of people leaving to Australia? Have you got a goal to reduce that? And he replied, well, we certainly do want to reduce it. And quote again, that was a demonstration, I think, of the kind of political leadership you'll see from John Key, which is aspirational and taking a run at winning the competition between us and Australia for talent. And if so, has he achieved that goal?
The Honourable Bill English.
Mr. Speaker, yes, I certainly do stand by those statements, and judging by the opinions given in Australia when the Prime Minister visited there a few weeks ago, they'd prefer to have him running Australia as well.
The Honourable David Parker.
Has he received any reports of any Member of Parliament telling the Minister of Finance in this House that the reason for New Zealanders leaving for Australia is, and again I quote, because of a self-absorbed government that cannot manage any political issues and does not care about the future of the country? And if so, can he confirm that this is the current reason people are leaving in the view of the person who made that very statement, the Honourable Bill English?
The Honourable Bill English.
Mr. Speaker, I do stand by that statement, certainly. What New Zealand is doing is to actively compete for the talents of its younger people by helping businesses to create new jobs that can pay more. In the absence of new jobs that can pay more, more of them will leave. And I think it's important we get on and support those businesses, whereas Labor and the Greens believe it's important to try and stop anything happening in New Zealand that will guarantee our young people have to leave.
The Honourable David Parker.
Does he agree with Massey University Professor Paul Spoonley's observation that the numbers of young New Zealanders now heading for Australia are so high that it's making New Zealand's ageing population problem worse?
The Honourable Bill English.
Mr. Speaker, no, I don't agree with that statement. We are getting on with the one thing that will make a difference to those young New Zealanders, and that is creating new and better opportunities here in New Zealand. And one of the major obstacles to that is the attitude of the Labor and the Greens, who believe that any kind of enhanced or profitable business activity is somehow wrong and we should rely on the government to do all this.
Andrew Williams.
Supplementary, Mr. Speaker. To the Minister, will the 1,000 plus New Zealanders leaving each week to live in Australia be entitled to keep their purchased $2,000 SOE share parcels? And will they still receive the loyalty bonus shares after 3 years?
The Honourable Bill English.
Well, Mr. Speaker, if they meet the definitions, of course they will.
Question number 8, Gareth Hughes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.